on balance sheets, and an entire business was born, and it's a massive business. It's called prime brokerage, and it's funny.
Yeah, most of the things that you would want to do with a smart contract, probably 80% of what you'd want to do with a smart contract, we do through smart transactors.
In the future at Evernorth is also plug into the DeFi ecosystem. We can earn yield on that treasury.
A natively on-chain tokenized money market fund in 2021. We're fortunate in that we picked a chain stellar that...
So if we're going to $100 trillion, how big is Bitcoin in that? 20 trillion? 25 trillion? Well, there's 75 trillion of other value.
They try to shake me out, but I was born ready. Dropping down the price, then I be getting plenty. They want all your bags and they want all them empty.
We got more XRP content getting taken down. XRP creators getting banned on YouTube. Also, do we have a Zaman wallet killer? We say when says, don't worry, Palicide acquired by Ripple. But first, we got Riz XRP NYC Ripple Swell 2025 live. Welcome back to some more Moon O'Clock News, Good Glitches. Appreciate you stopping by, tuning in. And as always, nothing in this video is financial or investment advice. Please always do your own research. We got XRP currently right around 228 and dropping. We got Ripple Swell NYC kicking off live in center stage in NYC. XIF crypto on Ripple Prime. It's a great idea. Ripple has a great balance sheet. The world has gifted them this XRP that they can borrow against it and create a great balance sheet.
On balance sheets, and an entire business was born, and it's a massive business. It's called prime brokerage. And it's funny, I deal with the XRP army, and so do you, Scott. The weekends, these people, they could barely spell prime brokerage. They don't understand. They're like screaming how great it is that Ripple Prime is going to be this great, this great trouble again. This incredible thing. Now, by the way, Ripple Prime is a great idea. There are a couple pieces missing. I said that I'm not going to give them free advice. They can call me. I'll happily tell them why. But Ripple has a great balance sheet because the world has gifted them this XRP, hoard, and they can borrow against it, and they can create a great balance sheet. Hidden Road is a great component. They have a custodian. They have all the key pieces. But prime brokerage is essentially a business.
We got a lot of extra bullish content popping out today. Here's David Schwartz breaking it down. The XRPL runs on smart transactors, not smart contracts. They're faster, cheaper, and more secure.
Yeah, most of the things that you would want to do with a smart contract, probably 80% of what you'd want to do with a smart contract, we do through smart transactors. But the downside is if you want to do something that can't be done with the existing transactors, just like a Bitcoin, like if you want to have collateralized lending on Bitcoin, Bitcoin doesn't have any way, the Bitcoin blockchain doesn't have any way to provide that smart contract capability. I would say, think about the XRP ledger as sort of somewhere between Bitcoin and Ethereum in terms of functionality. In other words, it provides more functionality than Bitcoin, but not as much as Ethereum. But it balanced against that is it's much faster, it's much cheaper, and it's also much more secure. I'm sure you've heard stories about people who agree to smart contracts and don't know what the smart contracts do. You don't have that problem. Like, you can't use a DEX on Ethereum without interacting with a smart contract. You can't use an NFT without interacting with a smart contract. You don't need a smart contract. And so that means your tool understands all of the behavior of the DEX and all of the behavior of the blockchain because they're core blockchain functions. So it's not as flexible as Ethereum, but in exchange, faster, cheaper, and you have that higher level of security where you don't have to worry about a smart contract doing something you didn't anticipate.
King Val X XRP Ledger will have the entire DeFi ecosystem built right on top of the ledger through Evernorth.
In the future at Evernorth is also plug into the DeFi ecosystem. We can earn yield on that treasury. Now you think about how hard that is for individuals, even for myself as a crypto, OG as they call, it is a lot to unpack to participate in the DeFi ecosystem. What I'm excited about is bringing that with a couple of clicks. You can go add the stock, but then you get exposure to all that great goodness that could potentially be coming down the line in the DeFi ecosystem. But to start, we're going to go and earn yield on the treasury using traditional methods. And so, we'll have a blend, but when the DeFi ecosystem starts to grow and mature with the right kind of controls, we'll be ready to participate in that ecosystem. And we want to build that right on top of the ledger, XRP ledger.
I am a fan of the DAT.
Okay, I didn't think you weren't. But
I am a fan. You can speak for me anytime, Andy. I want to touch on why now's the right time a little bit. Like we mentioned, you were building within the Ripple ecosystem at Ripple for 12 years. Now you've stepped outside building.
Subject views, Justin. Global Finance Leaders Investment Summit 2025. Franklin Templeton, CEO, says it fundamentally believes that the infrastructure and plumbing of financial services will be replaced by blockchain.
Now let's move on to the other big trend, stable coins and digital assets. Jenny, you've spoken quite a bit, and clearly about the potential for tokenization and blockchain technology to transform financial services and your industry in particular. What operational challenges need to be addressed to truly unlock its potential?
What operational challenges? Well, so number one is that you have a bunch of different blockchains out there that aren't all integrated. So integration's one. Number two, so we rolled out a natively on-chain tokenized money market fund in 2021. We were fortunate in that we picked a chain stellar that optimized what we were trying to do. If we had picked other chains, it would have been much more expensive, potentially more expensive than our existing money market funds. So you got to pick the right chain. There's some people that are concerned about the number of transactions per second, but actually there's certain chains that are optimized for that have that are faster than even Visa and MasterCard process. So you're working through a lot of these. But the biggest issue is probably most people don't have a wallet. You can't really hold a token if you don't have a wallet. I'm always hearing about alts managers say, can't wait till blockchain can democratize alternatives. The reality is that technology exists today. You don't have market makers. You don't have the infrastructure around it. And honestly, today, there's almost two worlds. There's the TradFi, the traditional finance world, and the digital asset world. And they're only now beginning to kind of come together. And as that happens, a lot of the traditional learnings that have happened will be brought over and much more professionalize, I think, what's existing in the digital assets. But there is no question, I fundamentally believe the infrastructure and plumbing of financial services will be replaced by blockchain.
Palisade Inc. has been acquired by Ripple. Our wallet as a service platform will help Ripple grow its next-gen custody and payment infrastructure, bringing our technology to businesses worldwide. Same team now at an enterprise scale. We say when it says Dear Worried, Zaman Wallet customers in DM and X. No, Ripple won't put us out of business. The Wallet News is enterprise solutions, not a customer-facing wallet app. Don't worry. Ripple is playing the enterprise long game while Zaman Wallet is here for all of you. 1 trillion Standard Chartered Bank CEO just said every transaction will eventually be settled on crypto. This is wild.
Our belief, which I think is shared by the leadership of Hong Kong, is that pretty much all transactions will settle on blockchains eventually, and that all money will be digital. Think about what that means. A complete rewiring of the financial system.
The biggest macro trade of all time, 3.45 trillion today. Destination 100 plus trillion digital asset investor.
But that's a small part of the overall space. So if we're going to $100 trillion, how big is Bitcoin in that? 20 trillion? 25 trillion? Well, there's 75 trillion of other value. And that's what crypto is. It's the technology part of blockchain. How else can you use blockchain? And it was smart contracts that really changed everything.
And if that crypto thesis plays out, how would you explain that to an institutional investor? How does that future financial system on the blockchain look like? Where do you see the biggest potential?
So in the financial markets, everything will go on chain. So all equities will go on chain, quicker settlement. We're seeing money going on chain in terms of stablecoins. We'll see every derivative will end up being an NFT because they're just individualized contracts that can be settled instantaneously. That's what prediction markets are. They're basically derivative markets. So all of this is much more efficient way of ownership, monitoring flows, security, everything. So the financial system will en masse move entirely to this framework. It makes much more sense. So, but that is only part of the equation. The financial system is just some of this. But we've got a world where we're now about to compete with AI in the world that we live in. So we're going to need digital ID. We're going to need proof of who we are. Okay, well, that's an 8 billion person problem to get solved fast. With zero knowledge proof technology and blockchain, we can do that at scale, and we need it. Then we've got the rise of AI agents. And agents are, it's like hiring somebody off Fiverr to build a website for you, do a PowerPoint presentation, all of this stuff. You ask agents to do it, but agents still need to get paid because they cost in terms of compute and electricity. So how do they get paid instantaneously at the speed that AI and the internet operates? The only way is blockchain rails.
Bitcoin Magazine just in, President Trump, CryptoZar says that crypto is the industry of the future.
Well, there are two technologies that I guess are relatively new, and so there's a lot of fear of them. And I think people don't necessarily know that much about them. They don't really know what to make of them. I think that from a policy standpoint, and we can talk about the similarities and differences, the approaches are a little different. I think with crypto, the main thing that's needed is regulatory certainty. You know, all the entrepreneurs I've talked to over the years, they all say the same thing, which is just tell us what the rules are. We're happy to comply, but people, Washington won't tell us what they are. And in fact, during the Biden years, you had an SEC chairman who took an approach, which I guess has been called regulation through enforcement, which basically means you just get prosecuted. They don't tell you what the rules are. You just basically get indicted. And then everyone else is supposed to divine what the rules are as you get prosecuted and fined and imprisoned. So that was the approach for several years. And, and as a result of that, basically the whole crypto industry was in the process of moving offshore. And America, I think, was being deprived of this industry of the future. And so President Trump, during his campaign and last year, he gave a now famous speech in Nashville in which he declared that he would make the United States the crypto capital of the planet, and that he would fire Gensler. That was like the big applause line. I think he's talked about how surprised he was at, what a big, ovation he got at that. So he said it again, and the crowd erupted again. But in any event, he promised basically to provide this clarity so that the industry would understand what the rules are, be able to comply. In turn, that should provide greater protection for consumers and businesses, everyone who's part of the ecosystem, and it makes America more competitive. So I think that's sort of the mandate on crypto.
With that being said, Batman Bag Ladies, we got Oscar Ramos says I got banned once again for posting about XRP. This time my title and thumbnail are fine. Nothing wrong at all with the video. Remove the strike. Remove the 7-day ban on my YouTube account. I'm talking about XRP News. Also, Digital Perspectives recently got the 7-day ban, but update from Oscar here. He says he got unbanned again. It's official. YouTube is going to give me a heart attack. After taking another look, we confirm that your content does not violate our community guidelines. Why is XRP content being targeted? Appreciate you stopping by, tuning in for another Moon O'Clock News update. Good glitches. Make sure to drop an elbow from the top ropes and a likey button. Smash that subscribe. Check the links in the description. As always, do your own research. We'll see you at the tippy top. Later, glitches.
Later, glitches.
Staring out my window, I got the formula, stacked them bags up and simple, and wait until we explode. I'll meet you at the disco, we just getting started like an intro. 589 the numbers, please, please call out bingo.